Thank you for joining us. We will get started in a minute once all our attendees have settled in. So I'm going to keep an eye on the attendee list, and we'll get started in a second. So we have a few people join. Okay, more trickling in. Awesome. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. On behalf of RO Innovation and Sage, we're excited to have you with us. We can move to the next slide. Before I jump in, I want to introduce our speaker for today's session. We're joined by Kara Manfredi, Senior Manager of the Customer Reference Program at Sage. Welcome, Kara. Also joining us is Rita Floyd, who plays a key role in driving Sage's customer advocacy initiatives. They both bring deep experience in customer reference strategy, program operations, and what you're going to hear today about is AI-driven insights. We're thrilled to have them with us today. I am Val Blanco, Manager of the Marketing Team at Upland Software, and I will be your co-host today. We can move to the next slide. Okay, what are we going to be talking about? Here's what we're going to be covering. First thing is the power of conversational data. Why everyday customer conversations contain valuable and untapped signals that maybe you guys didn't think about. The second point is how AI can help identify reference-ready moments earlier, not only earlier, but with less effort as well. Then we're going to talk about practical ways to turn those insights into action and scale your customer reference program. After that, we're going to dive into a Q&A session. Please feel free to submit your questions using the chat. You can see it there at the bottom on the right-hand side corner. And we're going to address all your questions at the end of the webinar. We can move. Okay. Let's set the stage. I want to start by providing a brief introduction of Sage, in case you're not familiar with them. Sage is a global software company that supports finance, HR, and payroll teams globally. Their customer base is large, diverse, and that means that they're constantly engaging with customers across many channels. With that scale comes high-volume customer conversations, and especially throughout long and complex sales cycles that we're all familiar with. Those conversations contain valuable insights that can support your customer reference program. But the challenge was for Sage that those customer reference ready moments often surfaced informally or across many different platforms. They were mentioned in passing, not captured consistently, and were difficult to scale across such a large organization. That's the environment Sage was operating in, and that is what led Kara and Rita to explore AI-driven detection to close that gap. Speaking about results, and Kara and Rita are going to speak about these results in detail. Since launching the program, Sage has seen a 21 increase in reference provided and a 34 increase in pipeline influence, contributing to 11.5 million in influence pipeline. Sage uses RO Innovation to manage their customer reference program. And with that, I'd like to pass it over to Kara to walk us through your framework. Welcome, Kara.
Thanks, Val. Thanks for having us. I'm really excited to connect with everyone on the call and share this information. Hope that it's very valuable to you. For folks that don't know of me, my name's Kara Manfredi, and I'm the Senior Manager at Sage Intact. I've been managing customer reference programs for many, many years, from enterprise size to startup. So I've got a lot of experience with how to manage both of these types of environments. So let's talk about reference programs. It's very niche, but it's very important and very powerful for the sales organization. As we know, I'm probably going to say something that all of you are going to go, oh my God, yeah, I totally can relate to this. This happens to us all the time. But let's talk about references. Most reference teams end up in the same loop. So sales closes, months pass, You have the CS team, the customer success team, you're reaching out to them, or however you're leveraging, hey, can you ask this customer to be a reference? And the customer says, maybe, right? And then suddenly we're scrambling to find the right reference at the worst possible moment. You've got sales breathing down your neck, asking you, where do you find it? How do you find the right one? But meanwhile, we're literally sitting on thousands of recorded customer conversations. So whether it's in QBRs, renewal conversations with the customer success team, support calls where customers are sharing outcomes, metrics, and praise. And the data exists and the signals exist, but no one is calling them out. So that's where AI can surface, where humans never had to manually time to review. With that being said, what we're missing. So in our old models, we're missing so many signals, right? And so this tends to show up naturally, as I mentioned, in conversations. So for example, positive sentiment. So during a QBR, for example, a customer may say something like, this is completely transformed our process. That's a signal, right? Champion indicators. Maybe an AVP brings a colleague to an info or a training. That's engagement. That's internal evangelism. And then that's another signal. Interest in case studies. When customers ask for stories, for example, they're showing advocacy tendencies. In casual success stories on renewal calls, someone may hand off or mention that they saw an improvement, let's say 40% in the improvement in close rates. That's not just a metric, that's a before and after hero story that we can use. But there's an issue. The data is scattered everywhere. Teams meetings, Zooms calls, Gong transcripts, chorus transcripts, all siloed. And a reference manager realistically only gets visibility to maybe even 50 of those conversations across the accounts. So there's no way to really manually switch all of those signals together. And that's exactly where AI learns to keep up, pulling up those patterns automatically so that we're not relying on luck or manual digging. I'm going to pass it to Rita.
Thank you, Cara. And so just a little bit of an introduction for me. I have been involved in this conversational intelligence world since this sort of category existed. So the beginning of these tools, I was launching these tools and building out these frameworks. So I'm excited to share them with you today, with one of them with you today. So as Cara mentioned, we had these gold treasure troves worth of data in these different places. So what AI is able to do for us now is to analyze thousands of calls in minutes and not months. So as Cara mentioned, you were only focusing on about 50 or so that you could personally get to. AI has given us the ability to scale that valuable activity. It can quickly identify those sentiment patterns that Cara mentioned as well. Which of our customers are raving fans versus the ones that are just doing okay? It also surfaces those success measures as well, right? So someone mentions an ROI in passing on a call, the AI is going to go ahead and catch that. And again, it's flagging that champion behavior. So who's already selling for you? Who's already bringing their boss into the calls? And the key is that the tool that we're using and the system that we've set up is tracking this over time. So not only did they just say yes when we asked them, but we're looking back over time to see that they're showing positive sentiment and signals over multiple interactions. And that is what is game changing for us. So I'll switch it back over to Cara and let her talk you through what it looked like before and where we are now that we've implemented this particular framework.
So this is the money slide, everyone. This is the stuff that I get so happy about. So this story is really about what changed, this slide is really the story about what changed, right? When we started to let AI start to surface signals that were missing before. So before our program, before AI, the program was really just functioning but limited, right? Because we couldn't see everything. We were depending on manual discovery, manual nomination, and whatever data happened to come our way. So let's talk about some of the key call outs here. References provided. Before AI, we had 429. After AI, we had 530. That's a 21% improvement. We have revenue influence. So we started off at 8.6 million, and now we've jumped to 11.5. That's a 34% lift That's huge for us, simply because we had the right references in play, right? Time is of the essence. Then we jumped from having our pool expanding, right? So we went from 864 to 1104, right? That's a 28%. So that helped us, AI helped us to find the advocates that we didn't even know existed. So we were starting to pull all that information out. And then sales satisfaction, I mean, that's the whole key to this. If we have their adoption, we have a better experience. We have trust and security from them that we're going to help them and get the right reference at the right time. And that enables us to find customers that are, 24 hours before the deal closes and you need to find someone. This is enabling us to find those key components that we're looking for. So we have a competitive edge, and that's a huge shift culturally. And then for the customer experience, before the programs felt transactional, after the customers say they feel valued and they feel heard. And that's another component. You want your customers to feel that way because we're reaching out at the right moment with the context, right? We're not just doing a general reference. We're more specific. We're more strategic. So this is what happens when you you go from reactive to the manual reference management to proactive. And so with an AI supported program, the volume improves, the quality improves, the experience improves for everyone. So really it's just like an overall win-win. Back to you, Rita.
Thanks, Cara. And so, okay, so we've set the stage. Now let's talk about what we're actually doing, all right? What is our AI actually listening for? So we've categorized it into 3 types of signals that you'll see here. The sentiment signal. Here is an example from a real world kind of call. So I'm going to paraphrase here. Something like, honestly, this has been game changing for our team. We cut our reporting time in half and everyone is actually using it, right? That is a big game changing. Everyone is using it. It's an overall positive sentiment that the tool is picking up. Secondly, we'll talk about success signals. So since implementing, we've achieved a 35% increase in pipeline velocity. Our reps are closing 20% more deals. That is absolute reference gold, as Cara mentioned earlier. That is a before and after story with specific metrics. This is a perfect reference. And the third one is the advocacy signal. Who's already talking about this to 3 other CEO or VPs in their network? Who's getting the questions about how do we set this up? Those are the folks that are already out there advocating for us, and we just need to formalize that. So our AI is listening across all of those different types of signals across every customer interaction. All right, so let's get practical. How do you do this? How do we actually do this? Let me walk you through one of our frameworks. This is something that, just a glimpse of that. Happy to talk about this in detail at a later time, but as a highlight, the first step is you have got to define your own taxonomy. What does a good reference-ready call or language look like for your particular business? So for Sage, here's our criteria. We have first want to make sure that we've got a positive sentiment score of a 7 out of 10. So we're going to be scoring every call to look for that particular sentiment. We want them to mention a specific business outcome or ROI. So we're not just looking for the generic, yeah, it's good. We need actual numbers. We need to hear that. We need them to be an executive or a decision maker on the call. So we want someone with authority to be the reference. They use language that we are listening for. So they're using game changer, love, transformation. Those things are super strong for us as an indicator that they are reference ready. And then we also want to make sure that there are no bugs, that they are a happy customer, that there are no open tickets or anything like that, because that would be not the best time to ask for a reference when they are in a position where they're waiting for us to do something. And then finally, we want to look at customers who are 90 days post-implementation, because we, again, want proven success, not the honeymoon phase where they will tell us that everything is going well. The second step to this, so once we've gone through all of that, you understand what it is that you're looking for, you've reverse engineered, you've taken those best calls that have closed, and you reverse engineer what those conversations sound like. You want to train your tool now to look for these signals. We happen to use Chorus AI by ZoomInfo, but this works with Gong, this works with SalesLoft, or whatever you might be using. So again, we're going to flag those specific keywords: success, impact, ROI, recommend, love. These will show up in the transcript, and the AI will go ahead and highlight that for us. We also want to track sentiment over time, right? So we're not just looking for the one-off where they say, hey, this is great. We want to see consistent touch points where they have this positive sentiment. We also are looking for identifying those executive engagement patterns. So if we see a VP or a C level on multiple calls, this is a huge signal that those folks are invested at the executive level, and that's what we want. We also want to surface some of those hidden references, so that hidden praise that we may not catch right away, or the rep may not catch right away on the phone, but the AI is listening for those little things that happened without being prompted. This has been amazing. This is really good about us asking side of the tool, our AI call on every customer interaction. All right. This great in theory, but are looking at the right set of calls, right? So step would be to create, here's what we've learned, that every single positive conversation is not necessarily an indication that that person or that customer is reference ready. So you need a similar scoring model in place, right? So for us, we are scoring the sentiment signal at about 30%. And that, again, is that language of enthusiasm, the praise. Success measures are also about 30% as well, where we are, did they mention ROI? Did they share before and after data with us? And then advocacy behavior is about 20%. Are they bringing peers onto the calls? Are there executives there? Are they engaging with our content outside of us having these conversations with them? And then, of course, we want to make sure the account score or the health of the account is good, because we want to make sure that there are no outstanding issues. They're familiar with the tool, they are comfortable using the tool, and they're getting real results. So we want to make sure that the account health is there as well. And so that is, in a nutshell, the framework, right? What we want to do is make sure that this data and all of this richness is shared with everyone, because while we're specifically talking about the reference program, this type of technology is impacting areas across the business. So for sales, they're seeing faster references, they're getting better quality references, and they have confidence now that the reference team has the right reference for them at the right time, because we've spent so much time making sure that we have found the right folks for those folks. For the reference team, as Cara mentioned, as you saw at the beginning, we have a larger pool of references to pull from. They're segmented, they're ready, and it's less reactive and more so proactive in their approach, right? So Cara and team are able to hear these hidden references that maybe the reps have missed before they have the opportunity to even ask for that reference. And then for the customer, they feel valued, they feel, and they truly are valued, right? And we turn it from a transactional sort of relationship into a partnership in which we work together to accomplish all of our goals. All right? So the keys to this success, as a summary, there are 5 things you should do. First, you have to start with a clear criteria. You have to define what reference ready looks like for your business. It would be easy to just copy what you've seen today, but I would encourage you to dig deep and figure out and understand what matters most to you and your customers. The second thing, you'll want to integrate with your existing tools. If you have Chorus or Gong or something like that, or a person like me who kind of sort of manages this technology and these programs for you, I would encourage you to get with that person and understand what data you have available to you right now. Three, train your teams, right? Your reference team needs to understand how your scoring works. Your sales team needs to understand this proactive and this process that we have in place so that they gain that confidence in the type and the quality of references that they are receiving as well. You always want to measure and iterate, right? So we always want to have a human in the loop, if you will, as ZoomInfo puts it, where we are looking at the results that we're getting. Do we need to make adjustments here, there? But it's the fact that you have this system in place, you'll be able to quickly iterate and measure your success as well. And then make it a habit, right? So we have Cara and teams set up right now where these items are being pushed over to them in a particular playlist. So they are in the habit of weekly reviewing those playlists and beginning those sort of sales conversations with the potential reference customers on a weekly basis as well. So make it a habit to stand this type of a program up for yourself. And what's on the other side of this for you is every customer conversation we know now contains those signals. So you're capturing that in a systematic way. The sales ready insights are there for you. Product feedback is there. And then expansion opportunities are there because you have such a handle on the richness of this conversational data coming through for you. So what can you do tomorrow? Or today, if you are very excited about it? What you can do today is you can audit what you have. Again, if you've got a person like myself, a part of your team, they are more than likely, I could confidently say that they are very excited and would be very excited to talk to you about standing something up like this for your organization. Again, define your own signals and your own process of what this is going to look like for you. Start small, right? We are at a point where we're able to scale this across thousands of conversations, but you may want to start, well, you should start small and make sure you've honed in on those keywords, those trackers, and those playlists that will be important for your reference team to review each week. Test it, measure, and then build your process around it, but most importantly, keep at it. All right? And that, new friends, is the end of our presentation. I'll turn it back over to Val, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. First, a huge thank you to our speakers, Cara and Rita from Sage, for walking us through how you implemented the AI call intelligence program. I loved how you broke down the program into practical steps and key success that attendees can bring into their customer reference program. So it's like, okay, AI is a buzzword. Where do I start? I think after watching this webinar, they can clearly know, I know where to start. So I found that very valuable. The other thing is, while I was listening to your presentation, it reminded me of a Bain and Company article about AI. We know that AI is everywhere and is a buzzword. And the essence of that article is that real gains comes when you redesign processes with AI at the core, and not when you bolt AI into old workflows, which is exactly what both you and Cara did, right? It's not using benefit, it's not using AI at an individual level. It's rethinking the whole process. How can I change and benefit where AI is at the core? So you're spearheading what the AI technology trends experts are outlining. With that, I would like to move into a few questions so our attendees can learn more about what a day-to-day looks like for Sage Customer Reference Program. I'm going to start with a quick question for you, Cara. From your experience, where do customer reference program struggle most today when it comes to identifying reference-ready customers in everyday conversations?
So that's a good question. So the biggest gap isn't really like a lack of happy customers. It's more the lack of visibility. We can't find everything that we need. So the reference ready moments pop up all over the place. So like we had said, like if a CSM hears something or a QBR support case closes, and they're, saying wonderful things. But we don't have those signals that are live. There's side chats and so on and so forth. So, without a consistent way to really capture and route them, it's tough. So I would say that's one of the challenges. And there's always the urgent ask, and you're trying to find what you need at the worst time. So in short, like the everyday conversations are full of advocacy gold. The struggle is surfacing those signals and reliability really fast enough to act. And once you have all that, and capture it, and using RO for us has been what we rely on. So we get all that information and we have that single source of truth based on being proactive, and also building that trust is another, key component with reference program struggling. So if you have the right reference at the right time and you're using the system to manage it, it just makes your time much more efficient and quicker response, which is a win-win for everybody. Win-win for the prospect who wonders how come it's taking them so long to find a reference, versus we've got someone because we know and we've been proactive, and you build that trust with sales. So that would be pretty much what I would respond. I'm sure there's many other things, but that's the core of it for me.
Awesome, thank you. Another question is, how does Sage typically use RO to support the customer reference program on a daily basis?
Sure. So we use it to manage our reference requests, and as I mentioned, our customer references. For us, it's really important that we have a single source of truth, and it's not about having quantity, large number of references. It's about having the quality. So again, going back to identifying different personas. In my years of doing this, I think we always just assume we have one reference at one account. We want to have multiple. We want to have personas, decision to purchase reference, technical reference, end user reference, support references, because the reference requests come in all different flavors. So having RO enable us to manage who those are, pause them when they need to be paused, thank them accordingly. We have a reward system. It's more of a silent rewards program, but we do thank customers periodically, which they appreciate. But at the end of the day, we don't ever want our customers to feel that they're being incentivized, because then that becomes a biased types of reference. We want it to be organic and truly talking about their success and why they chose Sage, and that's a win-win. So for us, it's that. The other big component of this is showing value of the program. So we have dashboards that can enable us to pull reports. I just actually had the other day, one of the SVPs asked me for a list of all the customers that had done reference calls and how they influenced our deals. And that helps to recognize, as we have upcoming conference coming up, the executive team would like to personally thank them for what they've done. And it's a really useful way to show value in what the program does and how it's impacting sales.
Awesome. Thank you, Kara, for that. I have another question for Rita. And we then delve, I see that there's many questions in the chat. Don't worry, we're going to get to them, all of them. As programs grow, what's one key takeaway teams should focus on to scale their customer reference program more effectively? If you can share.
Yeah.
Most important thing, the key takeaway.
Yeah, I think the setup is the most important thing, right? So really taking the time to identify what, if we equate it to a sales sort of motion, what's our ICP? Who's our ideal candidate for the reference program? And once you've defined that, it's a matter of iterating on that and making sure that you stay in it. This isn't a set it and forget it type of thing. You'll need to, again, find someone like myself or a team like myself that can help you really stay locked into making those adjustments as we see trends change, as we hear customer language change, all of those good things. We want to be proactive as we possibly can. So getting it right from the start is majorly important. So
awesome. Sounds good. We're gonna, since there's many questions in the chat, we're gonna move into the Q&A section of the webinar. The first question that I'm reading here is, we have seen examples like Sage where customer references are included in a meaningful percentage of deals. What does that tell us about the impact of a more proactive reference program can have? Let me know if you'd like me to read out loud the question again.
Yeah, can you repeat it one more time, please? I just want to make sure.
We've seen examples like Sage where customer references are included in a meaningful percentage of deals. What does that tell us about the impact of a more proactive reference program can have?
You want me to take that one, Rita?
Please.
I mean, we could do both, right? Your perspective and mine. So for me, having that, showing that metric tells me that there's adoption, that there's more likelihood that the sales reps are going to trust me, that they're going to come to me. They know that they can get their references quickly and that they're vetted and qualified and it's the right reference for the right type of request. So that's building that trust and credibility from sales. Like I said, a lot of times their hair is on fire. And then the other thing too, this goes back to just an example that I was using Chorus AI. I'm able to go in and listen to the calls as I can do daily, and I hear what the prospect is asking. So for example, if they're asking for a reference, someone may say, hey, can you give me a reference? You guys will laugh. That's in Chicago, that drives a green car, that eats grilled cheeses on Tuesday. Like, it's just so granular. And then the AE will come to me and say, I just need a reference in Chicago. But they didn't talk about the green car and the grilled cheeses, right? So I hear that, and I then make sure that I'm going back and saying, okay, that's great, but do you think it would be helpful if we had a reference like this? Oh, yeah, that would be great. So it's like you're in tune with the sales team. So all in all, they feel like you get me, you're helping me win my deals because I've listened to what the prospect says, and then the prospect appreciates the fact that it's that one reference, and I don't have to give them 5 references because the first one didn't work. So they need another one, or then another one, or another one. So for me, I would say that's what you're getting buy-in. The other thing too is reporting. So with using RO, I'm able to report on who's submitting references and who is not. So I share that information with their managers. So if they lost a deal, then they'd say, did you use a reference? What happened, right? How come you're not using the reference program? So it kind of gets that buy-in from sales, and I'm not trying to get anyone to get thrown under the bus, but at the same time, we're here to support them. And if I am in an opportunity and I can find a really good reference that's going to help influence it, heck yeah, I'm going to use it, right? So that's kind of my response to that. I don't know, Rita, if you have anything from your perspective.
No, just I would piggyback a little bit and say that the fact that we see so many references attached to our sales opportunities, like successful sales opportunities, would be an indication to me of the confidence that the sales team has in CAR's program, and the work that we've put into scaling this type of program is really paying off. And I think that that's evident from the revenue influence that CAR's program has kind of steadily grown and is continuing to make those giant double-digit leaps in terms of their the impact. So to me, it's a sign of confidence. It's also a sign from the reps and the sales organization, but it's also this sign of from the customer of confidence, right? Like, Sage has it all together. We didn't have to scramble. It didn't feel forced. It was just flowed right into the sales conversation that they had someone who, like Cara said, drives a green car, drinks coffee at 9, and jumps on one foot on Tuesdays. Like, they found this like diamond in the rough for me. They're listening to me, and I'm confident that this will be the way that the relationship continues. So that's my take on it.
What I heard is that you're now getting an insider's perspective, as if you were sitting in those hundreds of meetings, right? And you're not missing any detail, correct? Is that a good way to summarize it? Awesome.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Another question. This one is from Tricia. I'm going to read it. Hi, Kara. Been a while since we chatted. I'm sure a coffee or a chat is going to come after. Question. I am lost as how you're able to use AI to listen to various corporate client conversations.
A part of that, and I think Rita, you should kind of finish it. But Rita has set up a daily email that comes to me. I can do daily or weekly. And for example, I've got keyword searches reference. So I'll go in and I get this email and I click on a link and it'll bring me right to that conversation that was recorded with the sales team with this prospect. And it goes right into the exact part of the conversation where those keywords or the signals are mentioned that I've set up for me. So I've gone in and I'll hear, oh, it'd be really great if we could get a reference, or we gave you those references. Is that something that is enough for you? Would you like another reference? So wherever, because it's being transcribed, any type of keyword that you want helps me to identify what I'm looking for. So I can use it preemptively to say to the AE, hey, it looks like your deal's going really well with XYZ company. Would a reference help you? And they're like, oh yeah, I was gonna, go through RO to request the reference, but yeah, no, that'd be great. And so I work with them. It's almost like a concierge approach. Or we all know that we've got the behind the, the back pocket references, right? So I can go in and I can listen to where a prospect asked for references, but yet that AE never gave me the opportunity to support them. They called their buddy on the phone, hey, would you mind giving a general reference? Well, then I go back in and I'll say, hey, Bob, great opportunity I hear you have going. I heard that there was a reference that may have been used. I want to make sure that we're sending them a little something. Can I help with that? And it's not just to kind of, throw them under the bus, but, when we're not tracking that, inevitably, it always ends up happening that the next week we'll need that same reference that didn't know that they're being used. So it's kind of, again, that concierge, how can we help identifying, those signals so that we can build that adoption, and it's being proactive. So that, feel free to sidebar me if you have more questions on that. But Rita, maybe you want to talk about your portion.
Yeah, so that was sort of the portion where I was talking about really fine-tuning those keywords. So Cara may have started with reference, but then we got a little bit more granular and sort of understood even more about the conversation and the context around reference, because a lot of the times it won't show up as a reference, right? It might show up, as we mentioned, as, this is a real game changer for me. I really like, those sorts of positive sentiment language. So we've set up something called a smart playlist inside of the tool where, again, to Cara's point, we're sending over proactively these snippets, these moments in time inside of the conversation where this reference-ready language is happening. And then Cara and team can go through and quickly listen to those snippets, not listen to the entire call, and sort of derive whether or not this is a customer that they want to follow up and have that conversation with. I'm seeing a question that I want to answer from the chat, if that's okay.
Absolutely, just read it out loud.
Okay. Yeah. This is from Denise. She said, great session. Thank you so much, Denise. We appreciate it. Said, to get buy-in for tools like Chorus or Gong, etc., how did you get your sales and CS team to share call recordings that you may not, that they may not be leading or owning? So that's a great question. So Chorus or Conversational Intelligence is a globally adopted program inside of Sage. So the way that we have things set up is that the tool is automatically sort of joining the call. But the other side of that, right, as we know, people will always find a way to break things if they don't necessarily want to do that. We had to get buy-in, real buy-in from the sales leaders and the sales reps. Your sales managers are your force multiplier, right? And so if we rolled the tool out as a punitive tool, the stick instead of the carrot, then we wouldn't have as much success as we have right now. we have positioned this with the reps, with the sales leaders, as a tool, a coaching tool, right? This tool provides the rising tide, if you will, to raise all ships. So we are able to identify what good looks like on a call and lean into those things instead of it being a punitive thing where we're requiring everyone to record and we're, browbeating them over saying and things like that. This is really about enhancing our go-to-market motion. And for the reps, what they get out of it is, some of this data, all of this data actually writes back into Salesforce. So one of the number one things that we have kind of sort of issues with in RevOps is CRM hygiene. So this tool and other tools like it will take those notes and put them into Salesforce or your CRM of note so that we are capturing conversation from that BANT call all the way through to the renewal discussion as well. So we have several moments in time where we're able to, provide signals not just to reference, but to marketing, to product, and of course to the sales teams and sales leaders as well. So there's a big what's in it for me for those guys, and it's not punitive. That's super important in terms of getting buy-in for these tools.
Thank you.
I could talk about that all day, but yes, that's my answer.
It will be a pleasure to host a follow-up webinar. I'm going to combine a couple of questions from Emily. Are AEs using RO innovation to search for and request references? And the other question she had is, how big is your team that you can do concierge service?
So yes, the sales team is requesting references through the RO platform. The majority of the time, sometimes people don't have access, so we get emails or we get Teams requests, but that's how they do request references. So my team currently is 3 people, but let me tell you, I have been the one person doing this for many years. So I have identified that having a tool is able to give you the report to justify headcount. So if you can do that, that's really great. And that enables me to do this somewhat of a concierge approach. What I mean by concierge is, yes, we are pushing them to be a self-service tool, but we also do want to follow up and make sure that we understand, make sure that we have the bandwidth to go ahead and do this, the Chorus AI searching. But I tell you, there's a lot of, it's almost like working smarter, not harder, because we can identify, like I said, with Chorus AI, capturing when customers are asking for references or when they are providing signals that are beneficial. Because if I wasn't there, I wouldn't know about it. And the fact that I can set this up saves me so much time, and it helps me to identify the customers that we could reach out to that would be evangelists for us. So it's a win-win. It's a very quick way of searching and scrubbing and even finding those back pocket references. I've had examples where I've listened to calls of AE say, yeah, I sold a great customer, Bob Smith at ABC Company. He's my guy. I use him all the time for references. He'll totally take a call, and I'll go and I'll look and I'll see Bob is not in the reference program. Let me find out what's going on and have a conversation with the AE. So if I didn't know that that was happening, I wouldn't be able to find it. So it's kind of self-service and concierge at the same time. But I'm fortunate enough to have the team that I do, and they help tremendously with providing a little bit more attention to the sales team. The other thing I also wanted to go back to, if you're not showcasing your AEs that are utilizing the reference program, sales love to see their name, right? They love to hear that they're doing a good job and get a pat on the back. If you have town halls, be sure to put up there a quote or a sentiment from an AE that says, Cara's team was able to get me a reference in 24 hours and that won our deal. Or we never thought that we'd find something the day before Thanksgiving and Cara and team got it, right? Because we've got that quality reference database. So putting that up there just shows that you're adding value and that you're, you know, giving kudos to the AEs that deserve it. And once you do that, it's like being a little charismatic with them, you know, build that relationship just as they do with their prospects. So I wanted to mention that.
Awesome. The 45 minutes flew by, and that means that the content was fantastic and the attendees were very engaged asking questions. I know that there were some questions we didn't get a chance to get to. Rest assured that your CSM will follow up. In addition to that, if we can go to the next slide. Here you have Kara and Rita's contact information. If you want to do a deeper dive into understanding the nuances of this program, what they learned from launching it, feel free to scan and reach out. And they will be happy to set up some time and share what they learned from this. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and I want to give a special thank you to Kara and Rita for leading this webinar. I'm sure that many of the attendees are walking away with practical ways to apply AI in social listening. And again, as that Bain and Company report said, not just putting AI at an individual benefit, but rebuilding processes with AI at the core so you can really seize all the benefit of it. So thank you very much on behalf of RO Innovation and Sage for joining us today, and we'll speak soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.